So I'm just warning you, this one might make you cry. Welcome everyone to Powered and Protected by Rainbows. I'm of course your host, Matt Haslam, and today I want to share with you some beautiful stories that have happened to me over the past year or so, because I think it's imperative for little kids or young people to really understand these stories and know that they will be loved and accepted no matter who they love or no matter who they are deep down inside. And I hope by sharing these stories, I'm opening the microphone up to other people who have stories to share as well. So the first story I kind of want to share is from back in August 2018. My boyfriend at the time, we lasted for like 3 months, but it's okay that love ends with gay relationships too. Don't think just because you come out that the first relationship's gonna work or whatever. He was my first ever boyfriend, and I've talked about like gay breakups and how they differ from straight breakups in a previous episode, but we were like almost at the end of our relationship, but this day at the zoo kind of went really well for us, and I really credit it to this lady at the zoo that we met. And we were just like standing in front of the zebras, just honestly just walking around the zoo and enjoying ourselves. And we're trying to like take a selfie in front of the zebras and trying to get them on the one side of the screen and have my boyfriend at the time and I both on screen and, you know, just enjoying the day. And it was honestly like a really beautiful day to like send off our relationship. And we weren't like thinking about ending things at that point, but it was like this really good moment to remember from our relationships just before things went sour. And so I was trying to take this photo, and all of a sudden like this couple that's like maybe 50, 60 years old comes up on us. And, you know, I sometimes think the world is going to be like, you know, hated towards us, or they're just going to like stare at us blankly, or, you know, just, I kind of sometimes expect the worst in the world. And that's honestly from being closeted so many years. But this woman, you know, takes time out of her day from like seeing the zebras, and she comes over to us knowing that we're trying to take a photo together, and she sees us like holding hands around each other's backs and stuff like that. And she comes over to us and she says like, do you guys want me to take a photo of you guys together? And that way it's easier to get like the zebras in. And I'm so taken back by this. I'm so flabbergasted that someone would do this for a gay couple. I was so shocked that, you know, this kind of love was out there in the world, that I honestly just said to her, I'm like, are you sure? Because we're like together, you know? And she just says like, oh my God, you guys are like so cute together, and you're just trying to remember this moment, you know? And why wouldn't I help you with that? And so she like takes the photo for us, and I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much, you know? And you don't know how much that means to me, you know? And she just continues to look at the zebras and moves on, and I'm just like taken back for just a moment. And I said to my boyfriend at the time, I'm like, can we just like take a moment and then we'll move on to the next animals? And I was just, that was a moment that I'm probably going to remember forever, just because of how sweet the world was to me in that moment and how loving the world can be in moments like that. I never expected moments like that to ever happen to a gay couple, but they do. And I know it because I've lived through it now, you know? So then you fast forward a couple months, and I was in a new relationship, and I spent like Thanksgiving and Christmas with his family. And with family, you kind of expect for any family member of a gay person to be loving and accepting. At least that's the hope. And I sort of thought, okay, his entire family is loving and accepting of him. They all know I'm his boyfriend, and it's okay to hang out with them on Christmas and Thanksgiving and all this. We decided to, like, believe it or not, go to the same exact zoo that my ex and I went to, but only this time for like a Christmas light show. And I remember standing in line for this to like take a photo with this like pretend statue of Santa, you know? And I remember standing in the line, and the lady behind us in line just like taps us on the shoulder, and she's just like, you know, hey, if you want, I can like take a photo of you guys together with Santa, and then, you can take a photo of us. So I just remember this woman politely asking us if we want to make this like little tiny, friendly little trade in line. And I just remember looking down and realizing she had 3 little kids with her. And I believe it was like 1 boy and 2 little girls. They were like in really heavy winter jackets, so I didn't really take notice too much of boys or girls. But regardless, she had 3 little kids with her. And I just almost broke down and I was just like flabbergasted again in the world. And I thought it was such a beautiful moment, and probably one of the most beautiful moments in my entire life, where it wasn't just about this woman, politely offering to take our photo together and knowing that, hey, we're gay and we're a couple, it wasn't just for the fact that she would get someone to take their photo as well. It was honestly this thing thinking about, this is the lesson that she's teaching her kids, that they should be loving and accepting as well. It was such an incredible moment to watch a mother show her kids what love and acceptance really is, and to realize like what those little kids will grow up into, to realize how good of a mother she is, and to know that, if that's the way she's parenting and others parent, if anyone parents like that, then our next generation will be in complete equality. And I suddenly realized, like, wow, if like one of those kids ends up, coming out and as gay or trans or anything, I know that little kid's going to be okay, because he's going to or she's going to remember this moment at the zoo very early on in their childhood, and it's going to stick with them of knowing, hey, my mom is loving no matter what. She helped that gay couple in line. That's something that you may not realize as a parent is going to stick with your kids, but it does. Like, I remember little things from my childhood that like told me, hey, it's okay to come out now. Like, I remember things from back when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and that's what I thought about in the moments leading up to deciding when I was going to come out. And it's weird what little moments are going to make you realize your family's going to be accepting, but the more moments like that you have, the better. And it was beautiful seeing like that perfect parenting happening in front of me. And so like, obviously I'm like, yes, please, and she took our photo, and she's even like, oh, take another, you look so cute. Like, oh, wrap your arm around him, Then, being the photographer I am, I, go switch around with her, and she gets in front with her kids and stuff like that, and we take her photo and stuff, and I just like walk away. And I remember like saying to my boyfriend at the time, I'm just like, that lady is amazing, and it's just a moment that's just going to stick with me for a very long time, So fast forward a couple more months to Valentine's Day, when my boyfriend at the time and I decided to do things that any couple should be able to do on Valentine's Day. And in planning our Valentine's Day, I decided very early on that I wanted to be like anyone else on Valentine's Day. I wanted it to be us being open about our relationship, just like any straight couple would be able to. So we decided to like get a couples massage and then go out to a really nice dinner at a really nice restaurant. So we decided to, dress up really nice and go out to probably one of the more expensive meals that I've ever bought in my life. But it was fine because it was Valentine's Day, and that's what you do. And it's not every day that you go out to a really nice restaurant with someone and dress up really nice for it. But we decided to go out, and we sat at a table, just us. And I remember just looking around the restaurant, and I remember so many times during that meal looking around, waiting for people to stare at us, waiting for someone to walk by and give us that like evil look of like, wow, you're both guys, you're both dressed up the same, and you're both eating at a table on Valentine's Day at a really nice restaurant. Like, it was very obvious that we were a couple. It was like especially obvious to the people around us who can hear us joking and, could see us like holding hands at some point, or, playing footsie or whatever we were doing and being all cute in a relationship and things you do, but not like making out or anything, but like we were just obviously in a relationship. And it was beautiful so many times looking around going, wow, no one's staring. No one cares that we're gay. You know, we're normal. And that's what gave me like the final like bit of hope of like, maybe this world is accepting. Maybe it does care for us just as much as any straight person. Maybe things have gotten better through our generations. I remember hearing stories of my uncle who was gay, who had to travel city to city, who had to do things like flagging to know who it was safe to talk to. I remember hearing stories of him, having a lot of trouble in his life because he couldn't be open with the world and he couldn't love as open as I do now. And, even though I'm single currently during Pride Month and it kind of like sucks being single right now, it's also like this feeling of knowing that, if and when I get my next relationship, that the world will be just as accepting then as it was a month or two ago. That I'm okay being single and I'm okay being out. I'm okay wearing a rainbow, and the world's not going to hate me for putting a rainbow flag outside, just these little moments that happen along your trails of being out and open about things and, just being in a relationship. Like the fact that I can walk through a mall with a boyfriend or whatever and hold his hand and not have people care at all. And I know there are instances out in the world where, people do still stare at that. People do still come up and say, that's not right according to whatever scripture. I know there's people like that. But in my experience, I've been very, very lucky in the fact that I've never had that. Like, don't get me wrong, I've had one person message me thinking that, being gay is an illness or like a sin, but they don't talk about that anymore with me. They honestly still send business my way. They still think I'm a great guy. It's just we have different beliefs on this. And, my beliefs are backed up by science and facts that this is in my DNA. And their opinion is backed up by opinion. But then I had like one person call me a faggot, and I no longer have to see that person ever again. And it's fine with me. But so yes, I've been met with a tiny bit of hatred, but at the same time, I've been accepted by everyone else in my entire life. And people that I've never met before in my entire life come up and offer to take a picture in front of Santa or a zebra. And people I've never met before don't care I'm sitting at a nice restaurant with my boyfriend. So it's this really weird feeling of, after all these years, now knowing, hey, this world is accepting now, and knowing I'm okay to be out and open. I'm okay to wear a PBR shirt openly. I'm okay to, just say things like, hey, my boyfriend and I just went, or I'm okay to be on Grindr and not have people care as much. So it's moments like this that help me realize that this world is now accepting, and I hope it's just as accepting for you out there. So I hope by sharing some of these stories, and that not only am I open the microphone for other people to share their stories as well, which they can share on our Facebook page if they so choose, but I'm hoping that by sharing these stories, it helps those who aren't out of the closet, realize once you come out, you might have your fears, but know that a vast majority of America is now okay. So anyway, that's our episode for today. I know it's just a collection of little short stories, but and these short stories might not mean anything to anyone out there, but they also might mean everything to someone out there. And that's kind of why I do episodes like this, which aren't based on tips and tricks or info you might not know or anything like that. That's why I do stop every once in a while and do an episode like this where I can share. And this is my personal experiences. Doesn't mean it happens for everyone, but I hope it does help someone out there. Not every episode is going to be made for a general population. It's sometimes made for one little kid out there who might see it. And I'm hoping that if you're that little kid out there who needs to hear this, that you hear it well. This world is loving and accepting of you. I hope you now know that it's okay to come out. I don't mean that to say you should be pressured into coming out before you're ready. Obviously, take your time, as much time as you need. But if you figured out by now that your family is accepting and your friends are accepting, and you're still kind of hesitant to come out because the world might not be accepting, know that, at least in my experience, it is. But like I said, that's our episode for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, or you think it would help, please do like, subscribe, and share this video with someone that you think needs to hear it today. And I hope you have a very good Pride Month. Happy Gay Pride Month, everyone. See us next time here on PBR. Bye for now.